I have some updates on my previous video about the left-wing Egyptian activist Alaa Abd El-Fattah being allowed to come to Britain and get British citizenship. First of all, this ill-thought post by Keir Starmer, which I showed in my previous video, saying how delighted he was to welcome the Egyptian into UK and that it had been a top priority of his government. As I'm speaking, as I'm making this video right now, it has received 17 million views with over 20,000 responses, mostly unkind to Keir Starmer and what he said in his post. And I think that is a record for Starmer, and it shows how outraged the British people are with such duplicity, knowing that so many British citizens have been jailed for posting far less harmful stuff on their social media than this Egyptian activist. And yet the prime ministers of the UK, both present and past, including Rishi Sunak, have been backing up this guy. Also, so many British people in jails in foreign countries who have not received the same consular protection that this Egyptian activist has received. The duplicity is really outrageous. Anyways, today, Starmer and Yvette Cooper posted this. They're regretting what they call information failures. And Yvette Cooper has published a letter she's written to the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee addressing this information failure and wanting it to be investigated. Now, this goes to show that neither this government nor the previous administration, who also backed the Egyptian activists, do their proper due diligence. It should have been a difficult check. I mean, checking someone's social media before giving someone such an unconditional backing by the successive prime ministers and granting such a person with British citizenship, I mean, that should have been just routine work. But as I said in my last video, the Egyptian activist social media posts were already flagged and in the public domain. Even the left-wing group that initially nominated Fatah for the Sakharov Prize, the Freedom of Thought Prize, had withdrawn his nomination after they learned about his extremist violence and racist posts. So it really goes to show the lack of due diligence by the UK officials and the infiltration of the leftist activists into the British institutions who promote such activists as role models. And now that the shit has hit the fan, Fatah himself has tried to distance himself from his earlier social media posts, saying some have been taken out of context, but he also regrets the others. Let me just go through this Daily Telegraph article with you about this, because the article starts up by saying, Sir Keir Starmer is under mounting pressure to revoke the British citizenship of an alleged Islamist extremist. Well, the Telegraph has got this bit wrong. As I explained in my previous video, Fatah is not an Islamist extremist. He is in fact hard left, like the rest of his family. So a bit of lazy journalism there. I hope they correct that. But moving on, the article says, in a statement on Monday, Mr. Fatah apologised unequivocally for the historic tweets, but claimed that some of the posts have been completely twisted out of their meaning. And I actually agree on at least two of his posts that have been twisted and taken out of context. But I mean, there's a hell of a lot more that have not been taken out of context and clearly show he's not the peaceful activist victim he's been made out to be. And even on those, I say, okay, people make mistakes. I don't know anyone who's never made an error of judgment in their lives that they later regretted. But if that's the case, if he regrets what he's posted before, now that they've been highlighted, now that they've been flagged, it's not enough to say he regrets them. He has to come out and say, well, what he thinks today, how he thinks today on these issues. Where does he stand today on these issues? Instead, what has he done? His recent activity on social media suggests at the same time he's apologizing for his historic post, over on his Arabic social media, he's liking posts claiming he's just the victim of a Zionist campaign and blaming the Zionists for the bad publicity that he's getting. I also saw some of his sister's posts, like the one she made on October 7th, and only 3 days ago, which she posted in support of the Violent Palestine Action Group. I've been told that the Egyptian activist has even reposted his sister's post. I must say, I couldn't find that. I couldn't find the repost, but he hasn't said anything against it to my knowledge either. And look, my conclusion is, if this government makes out social cohesion is so important to them, neither Fatah or his other family members who've settled in Britain on making any positive contributions in this regard. What do you think? Do you think he should be forgiven for his historic post and all should be forgotten? Or do you think otherwise? And if so, what should be done there? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And let's see if the channel can hit the 13,000 subscribers by the end of this year so that we can make a strong start for 2026. Thanks for watching.